Imagine a single ship, a marvel of modern engineering, valued at over 200 million euros, quietly altering the course of Europe's energy future. It sounds like the audacious plot of a science fiction novel. But this is not a story of distant possibility. This is happening right now, unfolding in the churning waters of the North Sea and beyond. This ship, and others like it, could transform how Europe powers its cities, industries, and daily life for generations to come. Europe stands at a pivotal moment, a crossroads defined by the urgent need to combat climate change, secure energy independence, and foster new economic growth. Offshore wind power, once a niche idea, is now the beating heart of the continent's clean energy ambitions. Political leaders have set bold targets: net zero emissions, energy security in the face of global uncertainty, and a thriving green economy delivering jobs and prosperity. Businesses are responding, investing billions in innovation and infrastructure. The technology is evolving at a breathtaking pace, with wind turbines growing larger, more efficient, and more reliable with each passing year. But there's a critical challenge lurking beneath this surge of optimism. Even the most advanced turbines, promising enough electricity to power entire cities, are useless unless they can be built, installed, and maintained in some of the world's most hostile environments. Offshore wind farms, often located dozens of kilometers from the nearest shore, demand a logistical ballet of epic proportions. That is where a new generation of specialized vessels enters the stage, ships purpose-built to tame the seas and bring the world's cleanest power source to life. Cadeler, a company headquartered in Denmark and backed by shipping titans like the BW Group and Scorpio, is now at the forefront of this industrial revolution. Their latest acquisition, the Windkeeper, is not just another ship. It is a state-of-the-art jack-up vessel, designed from keel to mast to handle the immense weight and complexity of modern wind turbines. Earlier this year, Cadeler finalized its purchase of the Windkeeper from the Shanghai Boqiang Heavy Industry Group in China, a decision that industry insiders describe as nothing short of transformative for the European offshore wind sector. The Windkeeper's first assignment is already making waves. Cadeler secured a landmark 3-year contract with Vestas, one of the world's premier turbine manufacturers, for a sum exceeding 210 million euros. This is not just a business deal. It is a strategic partnership. The Windkeeper will transport, install, and maintain Vestas's new generation of turbines, including the mighty V236 model. These turbines are engineering marvels in their own right, with blades that sweep through airspace taller than the Eiffel Tower, and each capable of generating enough electricity to power nearly 20,000 homes. To put that into perspective, envision a single turbine providing clean energy for an entire small city. Schools, hospitals, homes, and businesses all illuminated by the wind. But why is this moment such a turning point? The answer lies in the scale and urgency of the task ahead. According to the Global Wind Energy Council, Europe must increase its annual offshore wind installations by at least fourfold by the year 2030 to reach its net zero emissions targets. That translates to hundreds of new turbines, each a colossal feat of engineering, being installed in some of the roughest marine environments on Earth. It's a logistical challenge that requires not just cutting-edge technology, but also an army of skilled workers, robust supply chains, and, crucially, a fleet of specialized vessels like the Windkeeper. Wind Europe, the continent's leading industry association, sums it up succinctly. Offshore wind is not just a power source, it's a European industry creating jobs and boosting energy security. This optimism is well-founded. The offshore wind sector already supports tens of thousands of skilled jobs, revitalizes coastal communities, and injects billions into local economies. Ports from Esbjerg in Denmark to Hull in the United Kingdom are bustling with activity. Cranes loading turbine blades the length of football fields, welders assembling massive steel foundations, engineers programming next-generation control systems. The ripple effects stretch far beyond the wind farms themselves, touching manufacturing, logistics, research, and even tourism. Yet beneath this promising surface, there is a race against time, investment, and logistics. Every year, ambitious new wind projects are announced, their success dependent on an intricate web of suppliers, financiers, regulators, and skilled labor. The supply of wind turbine installation vessels, or WTIVs, is already struggling to keep pace. In fact, Clarkson's Plateau Securities, a respected global shipping analyst, cautions that the shortage of these vessels is pushing daily charter rates to record highs, a trend that could threaten to slow down or even derail the continent's renewable energy build-out. To complicate matters further, Environmental regulations are growing ever more stringent. Shipowners like Cadeler must constantly invest in upgrades and retrofits to ensure their fleets comply with the latest emissions and safety standards. Before the Windkeeper even embarks on its maiden contract, it will undergo a series of complex modifications in European shipyards. These upgrades include new sea fastening systems to handle the Vestas V236 turbines, advanced energy management systems to reduce fuel consumption, and enhanced crew accommodations for long deployments at sea. This is not a one-and-done investment. Cadeler's commitment to fleet renewal is relentless. The company already operates 8 vessels, with 4 more under construction, signaling how fierce and dynamic the competition has become. But there is another, less visible threat looming on the horizon: skyrocketing costs and fragile supply chains. As Wood Mackenzie, a global energy consultancy, warns, supply chain constraints and rising material costs pose significant challenges to offshore wind project development. The manufacturing of turbines, foundations, and cables relies on a steady stream of steel, copper, rare earth metals, and precision-engineered components. Disruptions, whether caused by geopolitical tensions, pandemics, or natural disasters, can ripple through the entire system, delaying projects and inflating budgets. Every delay or cost overrun does not just dent profits. It jeopardizes Europe's clean energy ambitions and undermines investor confidence. Let's put this in context. The International Energy Agency estimates that, worldwide, offshore wind could become a cornerstone of electricity supply, rivaling the output of entire national grids. In Europe alone, the sector is expected to attract hundreds of billions of euros in investment by the middle of this century. Yet, these projections hinge on the industry's ability to overcome the bottlenecks of today: vessel shortages, regulatory delays, and the ever-present risk of economic shocks. So, the burning question now: can Europe's leading players, armed with multi-million-euro ships, cutting-edge technology, and bold strategies, overcome these obstacles in time to meet the continent's ambitious climate goals? Or will the industry be stymied by supply chain bottlenecks, vessel shortages, and spiraling costs? The outcome is far from certain. The answer will not only determine the future of the European energy landscape, but could set a precedent for the world. To understand the stakes, it's worth exploring the possible futures for Europe's offshore wind ambitions. There are several distinct scenarios ahead, each with its own blend of risks, opportunities, and transformative potential. First, imagine the best-case scenario. Europe cracks the code of scale and efficiency. Massive investment flows into manufacturing, infrastructure, and workforce training. Manufacturers like Vestas ramp up production, churning out ever larger turbines with unprecedented speed. Ports expand, digital tools optimize logistics, and vessels like the Windkeeper operate around the clock, installing and maintaining turbines in every corner of the continent. Annual offshore wind installations multiply, just as the Global Wind Energy Council urges, at least quadrupling by the close of this decade. In this future, Europe not only meets its climate targets, but becomes the undisputed global leader in clean energy technology. The impacts are profound. Thousands of new, high-quality jobs, revitalized coastal economies, and secure, affordable energy for millions. The continent's industries become more competitive, energy prices stabilize, and Europe provides a global blueprint for sustainable growth. But now, let's consider a more challenging scenario, one where supply chain bottlenecks remain stubbornly persistent. Steel shortages, delays in key components, or a lack of available vessels threaten to choke off progress. Construction timelines slip, costs soar, and investors get nervous. Some projects, once heralded with fanfare, are quietly shelved or postponed. Wood Mackenzie has repeatedly warned that these supply chain constraints and rising costs could become the industry's Achilles heel. In this world, Europe risks falling behind more nimble competitors in Asia or North America. The consequences are not just environmental, they are economic and geopolitical too. Energy security, already under strain from global events, becomes even more precarious. The continent's green reputation takes a hit, and the transition to clean energy slows to a crawl. A third scenario is defined by technological disruption. Here, radical innovations like floating wind turbines, digitalized fleet management, and autonomous maintenance drones upend the traditional rules of the game. DNV, an international energy consultancy, highlights that floating wind technology could unlock vast new areas for development, especially in deep waters where fixed foundations are not feasible. Imagine entire fleets of floating turbines, anchored far offshore, generating clean energy in places once considered unreachable. In this dynamic future, the winners are the companies and regions that invest boldly in next-generation technology and flexible, high-performance vessels. Rystad Energy projects that, over time, these technological leaps and the resulting economies of scale could drive down the cost of offshore wind, making it competitive with fossil fuels even without subsidies. Let's take a step back and look at the broader context. The offshore wind industry did not emerge overnight. Its roots stretch back to the 1990s, when the first experimental turbines were installed in shallow waters off the coast of Denmark. Back then, the challenges seemed insurmountable: high costs, untested technology, and skepticism from traditional energy sectors. But over the years, relentless innovation, policy support, and a growing sense of urgency about climate change have transformed the sector into a powerhouse of growth. Today, Europe leads the world in installed offshore wind capacity, with countries like the United Kingdom, Germany, and the Netherlands setting the pace for others to follow. However, history offers a cautionary tale. In the early 2000s, Europe's solar industry was the envy of the world, dominating global markets and spurring waves of investment. But when supply chains faltered and international competition intensified, much of that leadership was lost almost overnight. Offshore wind leaders are keen to avoid repeating those mistakes, emphasizing resilience, diversification, and constant innovation. Returning to the present, let's revisit the story of the Windkeeper. This vessel isn't just a piece of hardware. It's a symbol of Europe's determination to stay at the cutting edge. Its design incorporates the latest advances in shipbuilding: powerful cranes capable of lifting components weighing hundreds of tons, dynamic positioning systems that hold the vessel steady in rough seas, and modular decks that can be quickly reconfigured for installation or maintenance missions. Innovations such as the jack-up-on-jack-up vessel design further enhance the ability to maintain and upgrade turbines at sea, reducing downtime and boosting efficiency. Before the Windkeeper even sets sail for its first job, it will be equipped with sophisticated monitoring systems that track everything from weather conditions to fuel consumption. Advanced crew training ensures that every member on board can respond rapidly to emergencies or technical challenges. These investments are not just about compliance. They are about building a competitive edge in an industry where reliability and safety are paramount. Why should you care about all this? Offshore wind is not just an abstract battle against climate change. It is a living, breathing industry already delivering tangible benefits. Wind Europe reminds us that it creates highly skilled jobs, supports coastal communities, and strengthens energy security at a time when international energy markets are volatile and unpredictable. When you hear about a vessel like the Windkeeper, think of it as a floating hub of innovation and resilience, a vital piece of the puzzle that keeps modern life running, from powering your smartphone to lighting up entire neighborhoods with clean energy. For those interested in the future of work, technology, or investment, understanding the offshore wind sector is crucial. The supply chain pressures, regulatory shifts, and technological breakthroughs playing out today will create the risks and opportunities of tomorrow. Whether you are a student mapping out your career, an entrepreneur seeking new markets, or an investor looking for the next growth story, the trends shaping offshore wind will impact you sooner than you might think. Here's a striking fact that few people realize. Each new Vestas V236 turbine, like those the Windkeeper will install, can generate enough electricity to power roughly 20,000 homes. Imagine dozens, even hundreds, of these giants spinning off Europe's coastlines. Their cumulative impact is staggering. Tens of millions of households supplied with clean, reliable power, reducing dependence on imported fossil fuels and slashing carbon emissions. In regions like the North Sea, the Baltic, and the Atlantic, entire clusters of offshore wind farms are coming online, forming what some experts call energy islands that could soon export surplus electricity to neighboring countries. But the scale of the challenge ahead cannot be overstated. Building a single offshore wind farm is a multi-year endeavor, involving hundreds of suppliers, complex environmental assessments, and intricate financing arrangements. Each stage presents risks, weather delays, technical failures, or regulatory hurdles that can compound and threaten project viability. That is why the industry is investing heavily in digitalization, predictive maintenance, and smarter logistics. Every efficiency gained brings Europe one step closer to its climate goals. Looking to the future, experts agree that decisive action is needed. The International Energy Agency calls for greater investment and robust policy support. arguing that offshore wind can become one of the main pillars of the world's electricity supply. Governments must streamline permitting processes, invest in port infrastructure, and nurture the skilled workforce needed to build and maintain these monumental projects. Industry must continue to innovate, embracing new materials, digital tools, and business models that drive down costs and speed up deployment. So, can Europe rise to the occasion and scale up offshore wind fast enough? The answer hinges on a combination of willpower, investment, and ingenuity. The tools and technology are within reach. What remains to be seen is whether leaders, both in the public and private sectors, have the resolve to act boldly and decisively. The next few years will be critical. Ships like the Windkeeper are not just bystanders. They are central players in the race to lead the clean energy transition. For you, the implications are profound. As a consumer, you will benefit from cleaner, more reliable, and ultimately more affordable energy. As a participant in the economy, you may see new job opportunities, from engineering and construction to digital services and environmental monitoring. As a citizen, you have a stake in the success of this transformation, which promises to deliver not only a healthier environment, but also greater economic resilience and security. If you found this exploration insightful, do not forget to like this video and subscribe for more deep dives into the technology and economics shaping our rapidly changing world. We want to hear from you. Do you believe Europe will lead the global offshore wind revolution, or will new challengers emerge to seize the future? Share your thoughts in the comments below. The